people. Today we're doing a set of butterfly wing nails, which I have seen all over the internet lately. So I'm not giving credit to any one particular artist because I don't know who started this, but I thought I'd take a crack at them. So here we go. I'm using a medium length oval nail. And we're going to start off with this pink as our base color. Pink, purple. I'm calling it pink. Some people might think it's purple. It really isn't. I bet you're wondering why I didn't do purple on these. I thought about it. But next week I'm doing my own nails again already. It seems like I just did them. Anyway, they're coming up again next week, so I'll be doing purple on my own set. So that's why I chose not to use purple for these, although I really wanted to. Okay, and on the ring finger, we're going to use this Modeleones thermal polish. You saw at the beginning how it changes when it's hot and cold. I showed that at the very beginning of this. You'll see what it's going to look like here, and then you'll see again when it comes out of the lamp how much lighter it's going to be. Okay, we're going to cure those. Now we're ready for the second coat, which we're only putting on this one. We're not doing a second coat on the rest of those because we're going to chrome them. And while we're doing that, now I'm going to put my top coat on here. This has got to be a no-wipe top coat. Not the tempered top coat, because that's a hard one. It won't stick to that. This is a no wipe, and I still had problems. I could not get it to stick on here. So hopefully, if you guys do these and you're following along in this step, whatever top coat you're putting on yours hopefully will work, and you won't have to do all the extra nonsense that I had to do. But in case it happens to you, you'll see what I did to deal with it. But, okay, that's going to get cured. Now we're ready for the chrome. And this is where we start having problems. I chose a pink Holo chrome for this. And if we can open it. Okay. And as you can see by the mess on my thing, my paper towel, I've already had some problems. So I was having issues with my top coat splitting. Now I had seen some things that say if you're having that problem, to give your nails a light buff and give them an wipe with alcohol, and that's supposed to stop it from splitting. Well, it kind of did, but not totally. I was still having some splitting issues. So, whoopsie, now it's off the nail stand. When I first tried on here, it wasn't sticking at all. That's why you're seeing that mess on my paper towel already. So I'm preparing these for another layer of top coat. And I'm only going to cure this for 30 seconds. Well, first we're going to get this other one done. I'm only going to do 2 of these at a time because once it gets that 30-second cure on the top coat, I need to get the chrome on there right away. So I don't want to have too many at a time going. All right, now we're going to go in with the top coat, and you're going to see it's still going to split. So I really don't know why they do this sometimes. If anybody knows, I'm all ears. Let me know in the comments, because I really would like to have this resolved, because every once in a while I run into this problem. It just wants to keep splitting no matter what I do with it. Some people say just keep brushing over it, it'll go back together. Yeah, well, it doesn't. As you're going to see by how much brushing I'm doing on these, it's just going to keep going down there near the tip. I was about to put it in, and then I see down there by the tip, see where it has split again? There, see it? It just keeps doing it, and I filed them, I buffed them, I wiped them with alcohol. I don't know why it's doing it. I'm trying to get it so that it's all smooth so I can shove it in the lamp real quick before it splits again, because I know it's going to do it. And Now I'm getting so much on there that I'm cleaning some of it back off now. See, you can see it splitting in the middle now. And I don't know why I'm having so many issues with the chrome either. Now it's split on the end again. 6 months ago, all my chromes were working beautifully. And I was doing a lot of chrome stuff because everything was working so well. Now, the last couple of months or so, every time I try to use chrome, I have major problems. So I don't know what it is that's changed. I mean, I really don't know. I mean, I can get it there in the end, but it always takes a lot of extra stuff, and it's not supposed to be this hard. Eventually, I'm going to get this to stay together for the most part, and then we're going to move on. But you can see all the brushing I'm doing, and it still just keeps splitting. It's like it beads up, like it doesn't just want to not cover that bottom on that whatever's under there. Now I'm going to cure that for 30 seconds, and while that's in there, we're going to try to get this one to top coat. I think this one went a little bit better than the other one. But I didn't want to do too much buffing on them either, because I only put one coat of polish on there, and I didn't want it coming off. I mean, you can see it's kind of thin in spots. Okay, I think that one's good. Okay, in it goes. Now the first one's back. We're going to go ahead and do the chrome, and you will see I'm still going to have issues with this. It went on nicely everywhere except right there near that top part. See that middle section right there? It just didn't want to stick to that. I don't understand it. It's the same top coat, the same cure as the rest of it, but on that part, it didn't want to stick. So I don't know what the story is. We're going to go in with another layer of top coat now. And doing all this, and I forgot to brush the loose chrome off of there, so I managed to get chrome powder now in my top coat. I mean, it worked on all of the nail except for that one part in the middle, which I just don't get. At least I'm not having the top coat splitting this time. And then this one didn't get a long enough cure. It didn't cure for the full 30 seconds, so you're going to see what happens when that happens. It goes on, but you can't burnish it in. It just stays all dull and just icky looking. It doesn't want to, you just can't burnish it. That's what happens if it's not cured enough. So there's a fine line now, it seems to be, between when the curing time on getting the chrome to stick on this top coat. Now this is a Born Pretty top coat. Before this I was using Beetle's top coat, and it was working good with that for the most part. So I may have to just get some more of that for doing chrome work. Okay, we're back to this thumbnail again. And it kind of isn't wanting to stick in that middle bit. Once again, I don't know why. So now we got to go in with a whole nother layer of top coat. I don't know what's happening with these. Eventually I'm going to get this to chrome, but you guys see all the pain in the butt hassle this has been. And I just don't understand it. It seems like you got to cure this for 30 seconds and then immediately get the chrome on there, because if you wait for it to cool down, it seems like it doesn't want to stick. All right, now we're back to this guy. And finally, we're going to get this one to work. In case you guys are wondering why I don't have gloves on, this was why, because I like to do the chrome with my bare fingers. I usually get a better result with that. Now we're back to the thumb. And I think we finally got enough of it to stick on here. Okay, there we go. Finally. All right, I did the rest off camera, and it did take me a good while. Now we're going to brush off any loose chrome powder that may still be on there. And then we're going to give them a top coat, a thin top coat. Now I am switching to my tempered top coat for this part. Well, from here on out, when I'm using top coat, that's what it's going to be on this set. We're just going to give them a thin layer of top so that I don't scratch the chrome when I'm doing other stuff. Now, am I skipping over? No. I'm putting top coat on this one, but we're going to be wiping that back off in a minute because I decided I wanted another coat of that thermal polish on that accent nail. Now on some of these you'll see where my top coat split that I didn't notice until I chromed, like that thumb that's over there. I think this is the other rack, not the one you just saw me doing all that work on. But you'll notice that some of these are going to have like divots and stuff where my top coat split. This is a really bad one. See them in the middle right there. I think there's some near the tip too. If not on this one, it's on the other one. Now normally I would have filed those back down and redid them because you don't want that when you have chrome, because it will show up. Chrome shows up every teeny tiny little speck of dust, and any imperfection, it's going to show up really bad. I didn't freak out over it too terribly bad because I knew when I painted the wing design on there it was going to cover most of those. So that's why I left them on there, on the ones that you're going to see. Okay, we're going to go in with the third coat of this. I just wanted it to be darker. And I also didn't want to do an entire full set of just the butterfly wings. I like to have an accent nail, at least one. Lately I've been doing the ring fingers and the thumbs as accents, as you guys probably noticed. Alright, those are ready to cure. I'm just making sure none of my top coat was split again. And now we're moving on to the design painting, the wing design. We're starting off with black gel paint. Now you'll be able to see this one down there near that. See all those little divots from the split top coat? And there's some near the top too, I think. Like I said, I'm not too worried about them at this point because they're going to mostly be covered over. Okay, now this is the first one. This one's going to take me longer to do, and it's going to be a bit more awkward because this is the first one. And since I've never done this design, it takes me a minute to get like in the groove here. Once I got the first one done, and then I did the second one quicker, by the time I got to the third one, they were going much faster because I had a system down for it. But we're just going to paint like kind of a long, skinny, kind of a semi-skinny oval on this one side. And I'm going to angle everything towards that top corner there where the pointy part of this is. Okay, then we're going to, oh no, we're not yet. We're not there yet. Okay, next we're going to do the second loopy bit, or I should say the second oval. Now, I don't know why I started going up from the bottom. I got a different method going later. You want to make this next one a little bit shorter than the first one. That first bit there was too short. We need to clean some of that off. I'm just using alcohol on a lip-free wipe to clean that up. Alright, and okay, now we're going to finish our oval here, and we're going to angle this, as I said, down towards that corner over there, that top corner. next one is a little bit shorter than that one, and same thing, we're going to angle it over that way. Now, being that this is the thumb and I had more room, I got a fourth one on here. And on the middle finger, I was able to do 4, but the other two, the pinky and the index fingers, I only put 3 of these little loopy bits on there. Alright, and the fourth little one. Now, some peoples that I have seen, they have like had the center point be in the center top edge of the nail, like the cuticle edge, but in the center, so it kind of fanned out in 2 directions from that center point. I kind of liked this one better. I mean, as it looks more like a single wing to me when it's all together in one direction like that, because like where that corner is, where they come together, that's like where the wing would attach to the butterfly. At least in my mind. Okay, we're going to start filling in the background on part of this before we make the top loopy bits. Now, as I said already, this one took me a lot longer. Once I got a system down, I was doing these much faster. So, oh, and I forgot to tell you, this whole set took me about 2 hours to do. Okay, we got that littler loopy thing at the top going across, and then we're going to have this one kind of coming out of the in-between spot and going across. Now, I suppose I could have squeezed a real tiny one in that big spot right there, but I didn't. So that's all going to be filled in. Now the rest, now all of that outside of all those little loopy bits, we're going to fill all that in with black. I think these would have looked really pretty too with a nice glitter polish. Maybe a Holo glitter of some sort. Would have been nice. And we're just going to keep filling this in. This is also why I like working on the press-ons, because I can turn it around and move things around however I need to do what I'm trying to do. If this was on a person's hand, yeah, you could still do it. But it's going to be, at least for me, since I don't work on anybody but myself, it's a lot more awkward when I'm trying to do something with the nails attached to somebody, namely me. I have done my mom's on occasion, but that was like years ago when I was doing acrylics then. I did some for her on her. Shoot, that has to be at least like 30 years ago now. And I'm being a lot more delicate here painting this than I really need to be. I mean, as long as you don't slop it inside of the loopy bits, you don't need to be super careful painting these. And I'm just going to go across that edge there, that top edge. Kind of thicken that line up so it's a little more. Oh, first we're going to do these skinny ones. And then I think I'm going to do this bottom bit a little bit better. Or not. I guess I was happy with it. Nope, wait, hold on. Okay. I'm going to move on. I'm going to show you one more. This one is going to be the index finger. So we're only going to do 3 of the the long ovally bits. Okay, that's what we want to end up with. Now this one has got some more split polish areas on it, or split top coat. Okay, we will be going, I've sped this section up too, so it won't take as long. You'll notice I'm already going faster, even if this wasn't sped up, because I know how it's supposed to go for me now. So I know what the plan is. Now I can just implement it. Now there was a lot of this one that was out of shot, so I had to edit a lot of this out. So you're going to see me get this done really quickly. Or maybe it's not this one. It might be on the dot part. I don't know. I'm so scatterbrained lately. I don't know. That is like totally not like me at all, and I don't know what's going on. All I can say about that is it sucks to get older, girls. Or should I say ladies? This is, well, not so much on this part, but when we get to the dots, putting the dots on is not a good thing to have shaky hands if you're going to do that part. I had a little bit of an issue with that on some of them. It's like all of a sudden my hand will just twitch, or my finger will twitch, and it always seems to happen right when I'm doing something delicate. Alrighty, now I'm going to do the rest of those off camera. They've been cured now. Now we're going in with white gel paint. And we're going to use these two dotting tools. The yellow one is the smallest one I have, and the blue one I think is the next size up from that. Now you don't have to have dotting tools. You could use like a toothpick. You could use the end of a bobby pin that has that roundy part on it. Pretty much anything that you can pick up paint and put it down in a dot. Now this set of dotting tools I bought off of Wish like many years ago now. So, you know, it's not like they go bad. They don't get damaged, so they pretty much last forever. And you can get a set of these, pretty much these exact same ones on Ali, I'm going to say for probably less than $2. And if you find a place that's giving free shipping, well, there you go. Believe me, when I'm ordering stuff off of there, I search and search, because you're going to see a lot of the same items listed over and over. And I will find one that has free shipping. I very rarely do I ever pay shipping on anything. But we're just going to put all the dots on with this bigger one first. Then we're going to switch over to the littler one. Now I'm going to wipe off that dotting tool between each nail. Like I'll use it for the whole nail, and then when I start the next nail I'm going to wipe it off. Now we go in with the tiny ones. And we're just going to add some more here and there that are small. The dots is what makes this whole set, I think. Typically, I don't usually do well with the real tiny dots. I generally end up making them too big, but this time it worked out nicely for the most part. Now somewhere in here, I'm going to have my hand is going to do a twitchy thing right there. Now see how those two got put together? We're going to have to take those off and do them again. This is where I was saying shaky hands not going to work so good for this part. And we're back to the little ones. And we're not going to go all the way down to the end, to that inner corner. We're just going to do it along these outer edges. Whoopsie, see there, I did it again. Now I don't have enough paint on there. And just a couple over there. Let's maybe one more, two more. Okay. And there we go. There's the first one down. And see, for the most part, you can't see the split polish parts on there. I mean, there's a couple where they show, but for most of the time, most of it you don't. Now I'm going to show you on this one more. I think I sped this section up, but I'm not sure. We'll see. Let me see. Looks like it. And we're going to do the same thing. Yep, I definitely have sped this up. Usually I'll get 2, maybe 3 dots out of one, like dip into the paint, and then you got to get more. After this, I will do the rest of these off camera, and then we'll be ready to move on. There we go. And I will do the whole rack of these too and then cure them. So I'm only curing once for that whole row. Okay, so those are all cured up. We're moving on to the accent nails. Now, this is what it looks like when it's at its coldest. It's this kind of dark pinky, reddish pink. I'm just going to slather most of this with gem glue. And then we're going to start adding. Now I forgot to show you guys what I was using on here, but we're using these. These are the pre-made ones I have already of these flowers. There they are. They came with medium and small size and caviar beads that were gold, which I'm not going to use those. We're using these clear AB crystals in some different sizes. And then, of course, I'll be putting silver caviar beads instead of the gold ones on here, because I just thought that looked nicer with them. And we're just going to do kind of a random placement of all this stuff. Now, some of this is a bit out of shot, but I'll get back in the middle here in a bit. And like I said, I'm just sticking these on randomly here and there. Now some of these ABs didn't have much color to them. That one did, but some of those, like that one near the top, barely had any. So I don't know what the deal is with that. I do know too, if you wipe these down with the alcohol wipe after you get them on here, you'll take the AB finish off, and then they'll just be the clear glass. So don't do that. They can last through being in water and washing and shampoo and that kind of stuff, but they cannot handle alcohol. I found that out the hard way before. And these were little eeny weeny tiny ones. I don't know my crystal sizes. I mean, I never bothered to learn those, so I couldn't tell you what size they were, other than that they're really tiny. These that I'm putting on right now. And what are we doing? Oh, one of them escaped. Come back here. Oh, there's another one now. What is happening? All right, you get in there. And you got to get back on. where you were. And now I'm going to go with some more of those. Let's just have another one there. At some point, I'm going to switch over to caviar beads. Whoopsie. Now I wanted some more of those real little ones to put in between. Picking these things up too is a bit of a pain because they don't want to, when I use the picker upper end of this tool, inevitably they get picked up upside down, so I can't just stick them on. I got to take them off and straighten them out. And with those little ones, it's a real pain. Alright, what are we doing still? We got another one still. This is a bigger one again. Alright, now I think I'm ready for the caviar beads. Or not. I guess not. I guess I'm still adding crystals. See what I mean? They get upside down on there, so I can't put them on that way. And I don't want to get a dab of glue on there to pick them up, because if the glue gets on the top of the crystal, it's going to lose its sparkle. Excuse my arm. I try to edit out those things where my arm goes across, but sometimes I don't get them all. Okay, now we're just going to put some glue inside of the flowers where our caviar beads are going to go. These are the ones I'm using. These are not the teeny tiniest ones. These are the next size up. I still have not gotten to the teeny tiny ones. I need to get to Michael's and get them, but I really don't have money to be spending on anything right now. We are just really struggling. We haven't been able to make our mortgage payment for like 3 months. We've had to borrow money from people to make our house payment, so I don't know where this is gonna end up. And now I decided I needed bigger one for that big flower. So now I've gotten these out, and we're going to go with the size that's one bigger than the ones in that lid that I've been using so far. Maybe we get a bigger one in there. And then I decided to just randomly stick some of these bigger ones in here and there. As soon as I keep moving these things around. Oh, wait, another crystal in there. Here we go. I see a hair too. I'm hoping that's stuck on my glove and not on the dotting tool. Otherwise I'm going to end up with it in here somewhere. I see it. It's stuck on the end of the nail now. We're just randomly going to pop these in here and there just to fill in a little bit more. Now these you can get top coat or whatever on. It's frankly, it's better. And I probably should have dipped these in top coat as I'm putting them on, because through wear and tear of wearing the set, the finish will wear off of the caviar beads, the metal ones, and you'll end up with kind of a darker, not black, but kind of a darker, like I'm looking at my nails I'm wearing right now, because I had them on these. I had gold ones on here, and the gold finish is worn off most of them, and they're kind of maybe a dark, like a fake dark gold. I mean, I don't know how to describe them. Okay, we've cured that, obviously. We're going in now with the top coat. I still see that hair on there. It's driving me crazy. Apparently I didn't see it while I was working on those. Okay, and we're going to give a final top coat to the rest of these guys. and then we'll be done. I was really leery of my top coat splitting again on these, but it didn't. It worked fine on this part. So once again, I don't know why it does that. So most of the time it works perfectly fine, but sometimes I get a day where it just wants to split. Okay, and one more. And there we go. We're going to pop those into cure. As I make sure they're all good. And there we go. There's the finished set. I hope you like them. If you do like them, please give me a like. I really do appreciate it. It means the world to me. And if you want to see more, I upload a new set every Saturday. As I said before, next week it's my own nails again. So I'm going to do something flowery, but I don't know what yet. So you can tune in for that. Okay, that's all I have for you this week, guys. Have a good week. I see you next time. Bye-bye.